You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
What is up, punters and dribblers? Welcome back to another episode of All Talk with Tom and Eddie, the Hello Sport Podcast, home unqualified opinion and unwavering bias, coming to you on the beautiful, untapped SEN airwaves.
Glorious airwaves these, Tom.
What airwaves?
What airwaves they are, the best in the business, the best in the land, the best airwaves that airwaves have ever been.
Yep.
Now, we're talking to the great cricketer today.
Peasant he goes.
That's right. Two absolute studs, two alphas, two men that get cricket. They get what it's about. They get where it's going. They get where it's been. And I'd argue no one knows more about the game, Tom, than these fine gentlemen. Or they don't. At least no one speaks about it as eloquently.
They're the preeminent cricketing minds in this great nation of
That's
ours.
right.
Dare I say the world, an institution.
Well, listen, if you go off what India thinks of them, then they are.
They're
the
huge in
preeminent
India.
voices
They're
in the
bigger than
world.
Brett Lee in India and David Warner allegedly
Combined.
But great fellas, very funny. Follow them on. They've got podcasts, they've got YouTube, they've got Instagram. But let's rip in. Let's get into it with Peasant he goes from the great cricketer.
How's the trip up to the greatest city in the world, boys?
Nice to come home.
Good to come home.
Yeah. I sat next to an inexperienced flyer on the way here, so a lot of filming out the window, that sort of stuff. Buying drinks unnecessarily for a 1 hour flight, wanting to go to the bathroom, just
Buying drinks.
Yeah. It's tough being on planes all the time, boys. You know.
No, mate, I get you. Well, the jet set lifestyle. I thought we were going to die the last one. Where did we just come back from? Queensland.
Brisbane, we got some gnarly turbulence.
Oh,
The
really?
big fella almost had tears in the eyes.
Well, when like people start looking at each other around the flight, being like,
Oh shit! Is this it?
and like, I think by turbulence terms, it really wasn't that bad. But by like my fragile post-Magic Round sort of state of mind, I was I'm just thinking, this is how it's going to happen. Jesus Christ, going to call the girls and the family. What's happening? Like,
Oh shit!
what would you
But
have
he
said to
looked at
me?
me-
What would you have said to me on the way down?
look, who knows, dude? But I was looking for a hug at some point. It was wigging me out, man. It was fucking wigging me out. Sorry, I'm not texting mid-interview. I'm just trying to get some fucking notes up here.
There must be something about Brisbane because I know. Was it Archie? He had a time when he was in Queensland and like the oxygen came out of the thing, and he was going to Queensland as well. Yeah, he was in Brisbane. I've never had bad like that.
I haven't
Might be
really-
bad pockets on the way up there.
Maybe.
boys.
really
a
had
bit
that
of flight talk.
Yeah, flight talk to get us
pockets
going.
between sort of city. You actually get North Coast, New South Wales, and I've been to Brisbane 3 times.
So you guys have, and I reckon I've asked you like intermittently as I've sort of bump into each other or shoot the shit, but like you guys have become maybe bigger than Brett Lee in India.
And Dave Warner combined.
And Dave want to combine. Which, you know, like
That's no small feat.
No, there's not, and it makes sense, but it's also mind blowing. And like, when did it happen? What was the moment where it was like, oh fuck, we're big in India now?
It was the second Bollywood movie, I think. We kicked it off, and then we started wearing the vests.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. When did that happen? Maybe it's been three years, just before. Yeah, 2020, I think. India were playing here in a series, and then they beat us here for the second time. And they won this game at the Gabba where they chased heaps.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we jumped on the internet and just made a YouTube video, and some people liked it, mostly from India.
Yeah, right.
Because we were
Indians
distraught.
really got around it. Yeah.
Yeah, really weird how that happened. Yeah, and ever
Very
since
odd.
then we support Team India. So
No, because in cricket, like people will whisper it in Australia. You know, oh, if you make it in India, you know, you'll be set for life. And we're always of the view, like early TGC days, like there's no fucking way our bullshit about the rigs and champs and chop stories and tubs and, you know, insecurities about your penis and stuff is going to translate into India because the stereotype
of the show.
General like Australian male vulnerability is going to work in India. Because the stereotype you get fed is that, you know, Indians, you know, they just love cricket like earnestly and unironically, you know, and so we just thought it wouldn't translate, but turns out when they beat us in cricket and we talk about it, they fucking love it.
they fucking love it.
But honestly, like, you know, we started doing. We thought, oh, we'll have a crack. Like in Australia, I don't think a lot of Aussies and English types like actually, you know, do like they don't actually make an effort to get involved in cricket in India. Like I think here it's regarded as like this place. Here's a stereotype, but like regarded as a place where, you know, everyone's poor and there's a couple of billionaires and they're running the game, and the Indian players just love to have a stick, you know, and they
fucking love batting, hate
hate a
fielding.
stick,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they smash us, and that's it. But it's obviously like it's been cool to do it for 3 years. It can get tiring. Like there's a lot of them online, a lot of Indians knocking around online,
Chatting shit.
but we've just had a
Yeah.
crack at doing it, and it's been good to learn about what's actually happening in cricket with it, and to go to India and to like learn about like where places are, you know, like, you know, like when you like pre knowing about India, I was just like, oh, it's just, you know, I was completely like. I had no idea about it. You know, a lot of us have no idea. It's just one place. Every ground is the same. We're going to get fucked, you know.
They're all
spin
goat track.
bowling. They're all
Yeah,
goat
yeah.
tracks. They're pieces of shit. We'll blow up. They'll
All
beat
doctored.
us.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be complete like cultural disconnect about how we talk about it, and then we move on, you know.
Yeah, that sounds about right, at least from my perspective. How much is India playing a role in what you do now? Sort of, obviously, as you came up, it was all about, you know, club cricket and all the sort of like in jokes there. But how much of a focus do you guys have now on India?
I just think I can't really say what's in the live show. We address it in the live shows, by
Okay,
the way,
right.
coming up. But I
forgot about that actually.
but it was really important to us when we like decided, let's have a crack at like India content, that like nothing changes for what we do with Australia and the UK. Like we literally haven't. We've probably increased what we do with Australia and UK. Like our main podcast is about that, and we've still like been doing the Channel 7 show until last year. We've still been doing live shows. Like we give as much as we've ever given, if not more. The interviews still continue or whatever. We've literally we've just added this on top of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're now watching
and-
IPL all fucking night.
Yeah, definitely watching every game. Every fucking ball.
Just had a wink last night.
Till 4,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank God for KO. But it's like commercially not even that much with India.
It's also just because like where cricket's going, you know, boys. Like it's like just there is more and more like India finance the game. So like they have to play against someone, and often it's against England or Australia, which is where our other audience is, and America. And so like there's just more cricket there, and so like if our job is to watch cricket, which for the most part it seems to be, like we have to watch heaps of cricket, that like you're organically going to have to watch heaps of cricket in India anyway. That's where all the games are. It's where all the best players play. Like the IPL is it's hard to. I've never watched the IPL until the last 3 years. Yeah, so the final was last night. And before that, I didn't really know who the teams were. I knew some Australians played over there, but I didn't know where like the great Aussie players played. Like we talked before, like did Michael Clark play in the IPL? And then like, I had to like look it up, and like he played for one of them. I think he played for one of the teams that don't exist anymore. I might play for Pune. Yeah,
Super Giants.
the Super Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah, do miss them.
Yeah, I missed the
Marley, the Super Warriors.
and Super Giants. Them and the North Sydney Bears, eh?
You got to get a review.
Too soon. Too soon.
Not really.
But then you watch it and you're like, oh fuck, it is actually really good. But the problem is for an Australian audience, the game started at midnight and they finish at 4 a.m. It's the most unwatchable time, right? Because you can't stay up for that, you can't get up for that. Like it's unwatchable for us. So, but that's where most cricket is going as well. Anyway, it's a long way of saying like, we do more stuff into India.
Yes.
But that's also because more cricket is being played in India
there.
for India as well.
Did you find that like it's made you enjoy T20s more? I can get around to T20 here or there, or like even the Big Bash. I think even the most recent season of Big Bash was kind of good compared to maybe the ones.
The back end certainly got interesting.
But like, have you found that is some of it a slog, or is it like you kind of enjoy watching this shit now?
Like
cricket generally is just,
okay, we so we did some live shows through summer, and I don't know if people have been watching the show, like we often got told some pretty funny things about Justin Langer by players, and would often like talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
And then like to his immense credit, like we asked JL if he'd be a guest at our live show, and like, I wrote a full-on thing to him explaining why this would be a beautiful thing, and I was fully upfront that like we'd made comedy out of his coaching situation, he appreciated it, and anyway, like the point is like at the end of the like time we had on stage with him in front of the like absolutely fucking Schindler's List Brisbane crowd. And we did not get him up for us TGC at the end. We were like, nah. But like we're downstairs and he like got I'm sure he wouldn't mind us saying this, but like he went downstairs to the green room and he got his phone out. Immediately sat down and was like buried in his phone. I was like, oh, what are you looking at, JL? I've had a couple of beers. And he's like, oh, Scorchers score. Right, and I said to him, like, I'm like, do you like it? And he looked up like deadpan. He goes like, mate, I love it. and the whole room stopped.
It was so intense.
Yeah. He's off to the side, and everyone just starts looking at it. And then he's like, fixed me with his gaze, and he goes like, do you love it? And I said, I'm like, oh, it's a complex relationship, JL. You know what I mean? And then he stopped. He goes, no. But do you love it? Do you love it, Sammy?
So
and I'm like,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. But like, that's my answer to the question about watching T20 cricket. Like, no, I don't think watching more of it in the last couple of years has led to me being like an evangelist for it. Or like, oh no, it's actually good. You know, if you watch it, like, I test cricket. You know, like I'm old school like that. But I suppose we're a little bit agnostic in that's like, well, fuck, like that's just what people are playing, and there's, you know, it's like T20 cricket is not as funny as Test cricket. Like there's less funny things that can happen for us. Like there's less content. Like Test cricket is beautiful because there's so much like failure and so much brutality and so like all the pain is magnified and it's so fucking boring and long. It gives rise to more silly conversations. Yes. T20 cricket is like made for actual commercial entertainment and by extension like has less bullshit in it, so no, I don't like it as much. but you know, we cover a bit of it, and like particularly at the moment the IPL just finished, so we've just had like bulk clips running out talking about Indian cricket, and so all of our like Aussie and English fans are just like fucking pandering, you're just doing it for the bunts, boys. This is bullshit. And like the Ashes is going to start and it's just going to be all white stuff, you know? So
Punters and Dribblers, we are brought to you as always by our good friends, our great friends at Ned's, the number one betting platform for the punter and the dribbler. Bit of action in there on the weekend in our About Even Ned's betting group, of which the secret entry code is dribbler. Bit of action in there on the weekend.
It actually got a bit. Did you get a bit of action?
I did get a bit of action. Well, you and I got some action over Origin, but no, I didn't get any About Even action. I got some like side hustle action.
Our side thing action. You know
side thing action.
Like our main thing didn't get a whole lot of action.
Listen, on About Even, I didn't go too well, but I also have, that's my professional front-facing action, but then I'm also a civilian. You know, I am a civilian as well, and I have some civilian action.
Yeah, sometimes you're not in your military regalia.
Exactly.
Sometimes you're out there with the common man doing the common thing. Yeah. Which is, you know, seeking out omens and betting responsibly and getting fucking, maybe you got a Coruscant into a Munster. Maybe you saw Benny Elias in your hotel foyer. Maybe you saw Munster's kid and his partner, I don't know if they're married or not, in the hotel foyer. Maybe you put that together because you read omens really well. Maybe that hits in Origin. Maybe you yip and yahoo off the back of that. But also you're a little bit dejected because you lose. That's all possible with Neds. That's the power that Neds provides. Yep. So either you got your military regalia on or you're with the civvies. It doesn't really matter. You can bet how you want.
As long as you do it responsibly. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the website. I want to get back to the rise of the franchise cricket because we're terrified about it. But I was just on JL. Have you found it difficult as you got over the years got bigger to maintain the sort of like commitment to talking shit about anyone, or like not, you know what I mean, like that having a laugh about anyone, and the more that you have relationships with these people and being like, oh fuck, I got to see this person now.
Here's a list of cunts I hate.
No, I don't talk about it anymore.
Sometimes you guys would be exactly the same. Sometimes you forget that people listen or watch the show. Yeah. Because like it's just I'm just talking to Pez and he's just talking to me, and you guys will be the same. And so like, and then someone that you admire like says like, oh, I listen to the show, or they like an Instagram post or whatever, and you're like, oh fuck, people actually are watching things that I'm saying, and I'm like, because in that moment I've got zero cares in the world. I'm just talking to Pez, so you sort of forget. So like, I mean, we're never like really sledged players per se. But then it gets.
We have.
I know.
Maybe you haven't. Maybe you haven't.
Yeah.
The number of times I'm like, he hasn't replied to me because I said that thing last week. You know what I mean?
that
Like,
one thing that I've said.
I wonder what he would think. Or can we get him for a live show
Yeah.
anymore? Probably not. Why hasn't he replied? Oh, he's mates with him, and we said that thing about Hayden. You know, like.
Yeah.
Have you had players, bring it up with you?
No. I do think we're still like. We're still parasites on the big fucking circus of cricket, like when you see players, it's just like, okay, here's another fucking thing I've got to do. Like some of them are really good and get it and whatever, but like it's not, like I don't think any players have, like, so what you will get is players texting you when you've sledged someone that they hate, and they're like, "That was awesome."
Oh yeah, that is true.
You get a bit of that, or like, someone will call and go, "Oh man, that was fucking awesome what you said about that." You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's probably a cricket thing, really. Yeah.
Mm. Is there any player do you think that you've sort of milked the most for cheap laughs, more than anyone else, that you almost owe a slice of mud cake to or something?
Yeah. Well, like we just
Very specific.
we ate mud cake a couple of days ago. And
yeah, we did. Listen, I've still got mud cake on the mind.
Okay, yeah. I'm sick for a mud cake.
Yeah. I didn't realise how sick he is for a mud cake. He's particularly sick for a mud cake.
the worst thing about it is, and this is some like, this is like air travel chat. The worst thing is when there's someone who is good to make fun of, and then you actually experience the like, oh, he's actually a good bloke when you get to know him, and it fucking annoys all of your fans.
Yep.
And you can even say it about JL genuinely. You can like, he is a little bit misunderstood, JL. Like an ex, like he was such a former administrator. He wasn't even an administrator during CA. He was an ex-ACB administrator. Described him to us as an intensely decent person. It's exactly what he is. No, seriously. And so I'll give you one thing about JL, because I'm trying to compensate for the years of content. But like we actually like offered him a decent wedge to do our live show. And he like accepted the invitation, and then he waived it afterwards and then he said, "Buy your family something nice for Christmas." So like,
and we got fucked up that night.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
But
Tori hasn't seen a dollar of it.
That's classy.
No, but he's got that other side to him, JL. Like he's intensely decent. And I think he's a extremely well-intentioned person, and a like extremely high operator, like high level operator, particularly for his own life and his own achievements. And he takes that out to the world, and he wants others to be like that, and a lot of people aren't. And I think that's where it breaks down, because he just has ways and methods that are just like, fuck, you're a unit. You're an intense unit.
Fascinating guy as well, because he was in charge during the COVID times when they were in bubbles, and he's a very intense guy. So you can imagine that would be, especially in this age where cricket coaches now just basically just let them go and do whatever they want.
I thought that's what they were before.
Yeah.
And then they
that's come
became
back,
like
full
that.
circle.
I can't quite seem to get a grasp on it. So Andrew McDonald, you never hear from.
Yeah.
You hear from him every 6 months. JL, I heard from all the time.
Yeah.
Like, where
Wolf
is...
was in front of the camera.
Buff
was
Buff
the
loves
camera.
It's almost like if you're a really big player, you sort
if
of
you
were
were
just
really
trying
good.
to get that going.
But that's also why he's interesting, because there's this like nexus of like culture wars where like these guys embody the great, like the team of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like the team, when the team was a team and we won fucking everything. Fuck me, we were good. Yeah, we were. And like if you were in that team and you played just even a handful of games, then you're part of the elite of the elite. And so that's also like this old generation where like, global warming doesn't exist, for instance. And not saying those guys are, climate deniers, but, and then like the new age, mate, a couple of guys, it's always been hot.
It's fucking cold today.
Explain that. And then like this new age, especially like Cummins, he's obviously too woke.
Sensitive new age skip.
Exactly. So like there's this sort of competing ideas in the same dressing room where like, no, what I did was right and we won heaps of shit, and your way is wrong and you haven't won shit yet. So there seems to be a clash. Like it's a culture war in the dressing room, let alone in a broader.
Does it almost speak a little bit to a lot of the grade cricketer sort of material around like father and son relationships. You know what I mean?
That's a great analogy. Perfect. Yeah.
It's bizarre. It is, and it's funny. I imagine it would be a weird place to be sometimes in the Australian setup when you've got someone like JL and then Pat Cummins. Who's
Oh yeah, because if you play for Australia now, like you've been an absolute fucking throbber your whole life.
Yeah.
Like
You've been the best player.
best player in every team you've ever been in forever.
Best coaching.
And elevated and captained and ahead and told you're going to play for Australia. Then you ascend to what you think is the top of the mountain. And like you may along the way have learned about anthropogenic climate change, you know, and hold, you may have because you're younger, and it's in the curriculum now.
Might have stumbled across it.
You may have been taught different things in the syllabus about Indigenous Australia.
You go on Reddit late at night,
you ascend to the top of the mountain, and you're still at fucking base camp. You're not even at the peak yet. You
Things
get
they
there,
weren't teaching
and
in
then
the
the big
50s.
dogs come in and go, "You're fucking nothing." It's
You should
awesome.
have red
It
meat
just-
8 days a week. That's what I was saying.
One of our most eye-opening experiences was like going to the press box early on and learning that guys who had played like 20 tests and 30 tests still felt like they were like the year sevens of the high school cafeteria, the lepers in the feudal system, you know, like, and that the big dogs look down on them, and you just realise that you just never make it in Australian cricket. Like 5 guys have made it. That's our theory, really. 5 people in the history of Australian cricket have actually made it. Well, Bradman, Ponting, Warne, Benno. Okay, I'll give it 6, like Keith Miller, Dennis Lilly. No one else made it.
no one else.
As in, what about like
Steve
AB?
Walpole
What about
made
AB?
it. Yeah, AB made it.
Because he
Okay.
was
I got AB ahead
macho.
of Keith Miller. Keith Miller just had good hair.
AB was a macho man.
Yeah.
A man's man.
I didn't even know Keith. I know the name Keith Miller. But I couldn't pick Keith Miller.
No,
Yeah,
Keith Miller's
yeah.
archetypal though. Like he was a chop king.
I don't know.
who was
I
in
don't know
the
if
war.
Keith Miller made it.
No, I
AB
think,
made it.
I think you're incorrect. I think Keith Miller talked
Oh,
down.
well, actually,
to
what you'll find is-
Keith Miller talked down to Don Bradman. And I think he was at least in the conversation of ultimate chops swordsman of
Really?
Australian cricket. Yeah.
How are you hearing about the sword wielding of these sort of players? Like, you know,
when you make it a full-time job, you know, like you just
the yarn's
you got
filtered.
sources and there's a lot of women willing to speak now. You know?
yeah.
Yeah, post Me Too is a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Is
Didn't
there
realise I was going to Me Too Keith Miller on this show.
Look at these photos.
is there any alpha in world cricket that you think sort of trumps them all? Who was the sort of the father of modern batting? Who I can't remember his name, but I heard this yarn about him, and he would play in exhibition matches, and when he got bowled, he'd turn around and put the bails back on and go, "They're here to watch me bat,
Jesus
not you bowl."
Christ.
Yeah.
Who's that?
WG Grace.
W.G. Grace.
Yeah, the doctor. Yeah. He was the godfather. First step, like big beard. I don't know. We're looking at like late 19th century.
1890s kind of sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're really
And
going all the way back.
someone knocked him over and he put the bails back on and said that they've come to watch me bat, not you bowl.
Yeah.
I respect.
I think the biggest alpha of all time is Imran Khan. He is the biggest alpha.
He's in jail at the moment.
Well, did he get out? I thought he got out straight away. I thought he was in and then he was out.
It's fucking alpha doing.
That's literally putting the bails back on in jail.
Yeah.
No, I'm not out. Fuck
He
you.
played great cricket.
Yeah.
In Sydney for one season.
Yeah.
For Sydney Uni.
Sydney Uni, Imran Khan. And
Of
there's
course,
a
it was
couple
Sydney Uni. Sydney Uni, fucking the big dicks in the room in the cricket, great cricket
to
team.
themselves. Yeah.
But like in rugby, they've always got the fucking wallabies in their side. and
Yeah,
shit, you
yeah.
know what I mean?
It's not equivalent.
Yeah,
Like, I know what they are in rugby. It's like it's a joke.
It is a joke.
They're just offering scholarships to the unborn children of players. you know
Yes,
what I mean?
exactly. Well, they're all doing the same thing. They do arts science degrees, whatever that may be.
It's far more palatable if you can get your whole family and second and third cousins
That's right.
on scholarships. You know what I mean? You sort of feel the weight of the family on you then, don't you, to make a decision.
So he played for Sydney Uni, did he?
Yeah,
and there's a couple. There'd be stories knocking.
There's
around
stories
there.
about him like leaving a game to have sex with someone at lunch and then coming back and then finishing his spell. Toofa.
Or winning the game, but
winning the
reverse
game.
tang.
Winning the game.
Yeah.
Like over north.
That's you know what?
Yeah.
It's a good song.
That's a good. That's
Yeah.
impressive. That's impressive. What grades are you guys? I have asked this before. I know you get asked this shit, but just while we are because I don't get any understanding, so I don't ask you personally. But I know we asked whenever the first time we had you on. But what grades did you play?
Played all of them. Pezza played first grade.
Did you play first grade?
Pezza played a fair
So
bit.
you're a
say
first grade
surprised.
guy. Well, I mean, I'm surprised in the sense that I don't know anyone that's played first grade. So,
You had Nathan Lyon in here. Like,
well, it's a great point.
Ricky Potty's a friend.
Yeah, right.
I think the better answer is every grade, you know. And it also feels a bit like when someone asks, like, what grade did you play? It's like, if you've played multiple grades, what's the answer? I mean, obviously you go for the top grade. Like, what did you max out at?
Yeah.
Kind of similar to someone asking at, like, age 37, like, what'd you get in your HSC? You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Don't go
okay.
there.
Are you almost like deities of the grade cricket scene? Are you seen as like almost, you know, the guys that made it? Transcended the grades, so to speak.
I haven't
No.
been to a grade game in a long time. You've been recently. You've been down to St Kilda.
Yeah, I go down sometimes, like, as a muse, you know, like, I need to see. I need to, like,
Just get content.
well, I need to do something with my children as well, get them out of the
Yeah,
house.
right.
I do. I go watch sometimes to, like, try and remember the movements and the sounds, and it is amazing, like, what you pick up. You just see guys doing shit, and you're like, oh, I remember that. But
The grade
no-
cricketers wouldn't even acknowledge you. Like, even if they were
No
like the
way.
biggest fans of all time, they
I
wouldn't.
was going to say, it feels
they,
sick.
You wouldn't look you in the eye.
No way. Like, if people had paid, like, thousands of dollars to our business and supported it wholeheartedly, like, in Australia, that's not even a handshake from that person. So, are we deities? Like, it's a sick question. You would wouldn't even know, you know.
And is that like
I can
a
rule it
pride
out.
thing? Like, as in they wouldn't want to come up and say,
No
"G'day,
way,
yes,
this is
that's it."
Australia, you know.
Yeah.
We've got
That's
this
true.
live shows tonight. Walk on stage, blokes will probably turn their back. You know what I mean? Like,
Blokes in front of arms
Who are these
folded.
blokes?
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dare to make me laugh. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying to you is when we go on, and we don't do live shows really, but like the first time it happened to us, we were doing a live show with Kempy from Bloke in a Bar, and I didn't know the entire audience. Like, you just expect you're walking out there with like your audience. You're like, oh, we'll get a bit of a cheer when your name gets called out. The entire fucking audience booed us, and I was like, holy shit! As in, like, they were just like, this will be funny.
ironically
Let's
booing.
boo them
I think
as they
that's
come
Oh,
out.
shit.
Well, now it is, but when now when you're expecting it, it's like, okay, well, this is technically a cheer, but like the first,
it's the Australian
it's
cheer.
the Australian
Yeah.
cheer. But when you first walk out there, it was like, oh, what the fuck? They're like, oh, that's right. They're just doing the fuck
A
out.
boo will knock you down a couple of pegs. Don't worry about that. There's not a man or woman alive that doesn't get knocked down by a boo.
Boo. A
It
solid
rattles
boo.
you. It's just straight between the eyes.
Fuck
So
me
hopefully you
up.
don't get any tonight, boys.
Oh,
Hopefully
could
not.
happen.
Hopefully
sure
not.
you
When you do like more corporate gigs and it's like a more of a Gen X boomer crowd, then it's like they don't know how to use the internet, let alone who the fuck we are.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
How do
it's
you
hard
find
to
those
sell.
ones? How do you find those? Because they to me feel like it's
hard.
not like your audience, so you got to kind of win them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually be good at your job.
Yeah, be good at your job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Nah, difficult. Avoid them like the
That's why
plague.
we avoid them. Yeah,
Yeah,
Don't
right.
just love it
Easy
all the
laughs.
time. Yeah.
And do you spend much time preparing? Like, how long does a live show take to prepare for?
Oh,
Or is it a constant work in progress? Are you like a stand-up comedian who releases their special and then goes, burns it, we got to start again?
The thing is, we don't do like stand up, like doing reps, doing like sort of 3-4 shows a night where like you're grooving 5-minute bits. Like
Yep.
it's because our show goes for about 90 minutes, 2 hours, really. There's obviously an interview with the guests here in between.
Yep.
We use some crowd interaction with some questions, that sort of stuff. But we're figuring out as we go along. Like I think this tour we're going on now in the UK, I think is it 8, 9, 10 shows, something like that. But
that's wild.
The first
10
one,
shows.
the first one's tonight, and we have written it over the last like couple of weeks, I suppose. But we're going to be grooving it tonight in front of people that have bought tickets and stuff. So it's not quite the same as like you know getting out on the road and doing stuff for a year, putting
Yeah.
an hour
Joke.
together, and then fucking doing some Netflix stuff. You know, it's not quite. We don't have that luxury really. So
and we're lucky.
I guess we'll
because
figure it out.
We always play to our own audience as well. You know,
Yeah.
like that. There's just no comparison with genuine stand-up comedians who go out there in front of people who may not know them or whatever, and win them with like jokes that are still appeal to people who don't know you. Like
Yes.
ours is just incredibly niche, and grooved over like months and years of stupid like Patreon shows and in jokes.
Yes.
So people are like I think, and it's like to our detriment and means that we're unprofessional. But like, I think people just come possibly to like see it in the flesh, see the same thing that they're used to like listening to with earphones and
Yes.
getting their avocado
Yeah.
and shit.
See if you
and
got
going,
legs.
oh, I got that, say the line, you know, like do that
Yeah,
thing.
say
Oh, it's
it.
them, you know.
Yeah.
Often people say like that it's a weird experience for them because a podcast is such a personal experience, right? Where you're just listening by yourself, and then when you go to a venue where there's like several hundred people who all listen to the same thing, it's like, oh, this is weird because this is my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
often say that.
No, that's true. Or they think they know you, which I think I found
Yeah.
that it makes the interactions way people I've never really had a bad interaction with anyone who's like
Nah.
a weirdo. You know what I mean? Like they know you quite well, so it's like pretty.
It's a strange phenomenon where we've had a number of scenarios where somebody will just like directly criticize you, like online, and occasionally like we'll bite back and be like, I don't know, whatever it is, like just answer back or say like that's that's a bit rude, or other words similar to that.
Yeah.
And almost without fail, the person will say like, "Oh, just kidding." Like it's a
Big fan,
like
guys.
really big fan, love your stuff. I'm like really upset that they've made you upset, and
They're
you
almost
realise that
negging
like,
you in hope of
Generating
recording
fans.
you.
actually,
And it works every time.
They feel like you're their friend
Yeah.
because they listen to you. So they're on the level where they can sledge you. They just don't realise that you've never clapped eyes on them in your life.
We
or
don't
know
have that relationship yet.
Yeah, that's right.
We had a guy walk past our office the other day, and he came inside, and he was like, really, really polite, just shook our hands, and then he walked past, and he was like, "Coley." Just yelled Coley at us. Okay.
Yeah, right.
You wanted to leave us with something.
How are you received when you go behind enemy lines into England? What's that experience like?
We went once.
Yeah,
in
it should be
2019.
all right. Yeah, I suppose for our live show, because there's much more of a history of podcasts doing stuff on stage in the UK. There's not really that much in Australia, and there's zero in India. So I think people seem to like it.
And is it mostly English people? Like, isn't it's not
In England?
Aussie
Yeah.
expats?
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of shared, like, if you call it Anglosphere cricket, there's a lot of shared
Heaps of
ways
white
of
guys.
looking at the game.
Yep.
And I think if they've come to the show, then they've probably liked the podcast, so they're already kind of giving a nod to it. So it's mainly English guys. I don't think like. I don't know. We don't really do the demographics of it. So.
Yeah. Have you sold out? Are all your shows sold out?
Gone.
Go on.
Wow. Well, there you go.
We love that.
Tough titties to anyone listening from England.
Tough titties indeed.
Yeah. Too late.
We sort of we did a live show recently. It was like a live stream live. And heckling the crowd if you are sort of against each other is almost one of life's great joys, I
Yeah,
think.
it was
Getting
fun.
that sort of banter going.
Yeah.
Is that the way you attack it with the Poms? Do you just
Sometimes, yeah.
rib
No,
'em?
he's good. He's really good. Like he goes to a
It
different.
just feels
he
like
won't say
such
this, but-
that's low hanging fruit to wind up Poms live.
Oh,
He can Poms, he does it with everyone.
Yeah.
He goes to a different level on stage, walk on stage, and it's extremely combative. like in a way that's like, Ian, you need to talk about this with your counsellor. But it's very entertaining. But no, he's very good at the back and forth, and like he goes all like undo one button on his shirt and just show like a little bit of bicep and lean forward like with a beer, and it's fucking on, and it's kind of arousing to watch for me,
That's true. The boy.
Let
Wow.
the boy watch. So yeah, the combative, like we tend to find
Yeah, I
that
agree. I agree with you,
at
yeah.
the live shows, it's very aggressive. It's an aggressive arrangement.
Yeah.
That hostility works quite well, because I think they want it as well, and they give it
Yeah,
back
they're begging for it.
yeah. That's what I tell myself. I'm like, No, he wanted that. He definitely wanted that. Yeah.
But like when we were in India, which was it was an awesome experience, hectic, heavy place, and whatever. Like, we did some jokes which I thought were like really intelligently constructed about like man-cad and cultural equivalents and shit, and you're just getting nothing, and then he'll just swear, and they're just like, oh yeah, because there's not a lot of swearing, in India as well, and my jokes are shit, but yeah.
Yeah, it's on my mind. Nuanced stuff. Just saying.
That's
fuck
right,
a lot.
stuff.
Yeah,
I've been
fuck.
grooving that for weeks. Anyway,
That's funny. So there's no one really like you guys in even Indian versions of you guys, or anyone doing anything similar that you're aware of?
Don't know.
The thing with India,
There could
is,
be.
like, there could be, like, the large majority of India speaks Hindi, so I don't really know what's occurring. There might be. I think you can expect in India that like there'll be several times the number of things as there are in Australia. Like there are a couple of comedy outfits in India who do cricket, but that's because that would be comedians first, who then lean into cricket when cricket's on, because in India, like cricket is such a massive part of the daily discourse that like every business, comedian or insurance or otherwise, like must like connect with cricket to basically promote themselves or market themselves.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Because even like our internet behavior, especially yours, mate, recently. No, just like like it doesn't pop up in the algorithm, you know, like because why would YouTube serve you a Hindi video, for instance? Like but it must exist, but it does. I've never come across it.
Nor looked for it, it seems.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a SWOT analysis of your competitors? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats,
Yeah.
obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
12
yeah.
business.
You guys have a whiteboard and everything.
Yeah. No, we got a couple of SWOT analysis.
We listen. It hasn't been getting pumped up enough as much as I would have liked, to be honest. But the Test Championship is just around the corner.
Yeah,
Is this the opportunity for us to right horrible wrongs from obviously last year we didn't get in, or the last time it was on because of a stupid run rate decision?
Yeah.
Are we primed for a victory, boys? In your estimation, where are we at?
Sorry, I'm just going to let Dave walk in here with the... Do you want another beer?
No, I'm good.
Right.
They've got a live show.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry. This
You
looks
know,
very...
I've got-
This looks like
No,
problematic drinkers here, just straight tequila on the fucking show.
Boys, it's 7:30 a.m. I think that Australia will probably go into it favourites because I think Australia probably have a better team to play India at the Oval.
Is it the Oval or Lords?
It's at the Oval. Is that? Yeah, it's at the Oval. It's at the Oval.
Yeah.
It's at the Oval.
Lords decided to play England versus Ireland.
Yes, the
Oh, really? Is that
the
what it
premium
is?
game?
Yeah.
Is that on the same time?
Yeah.
Same time. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think Australia should go in as favourites. It's a weird one. We've been talking about it on our show where like it's just a warm up for the real thing. It's a warm up for the Ashes, and the Ashes is a warm up for the 100, a tournament that no one else plays. So it's very confusing what this is all about. Pez said the other day, I thought which is right. Like it's very hard to take it seriously when the grand final of the World Test Championship, the thing that everything is supposed to ladder up towards, has absolutely zero build up. The teams haven't been playing. They've been playing the IPL alone for 2.5 months. No one's playing red ball cricket. So it's like guys aren't going to be at their absolute. They haven't like tapered their program, you know. To
How the fuck do they taper programs these days anyway?
Well, exactly.
It seems like it's
They
just
play golf.
They play golf.
Honestly, they
Seriously,
don't train.
yeah.
Those
That's
players.
it.
They are
They
fucking
hate training.
sick for golf, the Australian cricket. So are England, actually. Yeah, it is hard to sort of take it seriously. But once that first ball is bowled, like you guys be the same. Like fuck, we have to win it. We have to win
No,
it.
no,
Like
absolutely.
New Zealand won it last time. Come on, disrespect.
It really fucked us off that run rate, overrate, or whatever it was.
Yeah, overrate,
It
yeah.
ruined
Overrate.
our opportunity just to be playing in it.
It felt wrong that New Zealand won the inaugural. Of it, like he's got a Kiwi mother, I've got a Kiwi
We're
father.
half Kiwi and
We
both
get it,
right.
but it just doesn't sit right.
I didn't know that.
Like a litre of milk in the stomach, it just not quite
Very
right.
similar feelings.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, even New Zealand being there, they had a really good team, but like they played a lot of games at home against Bangladesh and the likes of. I can't remember what Australia. I mean, Australia should have been there, and they weren't. And New
They
Zealand
shut
won
the
it.
bed against India, basically.
That's right.
Under JL.
At home?
At home.
Yeah, right.
But anytime Australia suffers in cricket, our business thrives. So, you know,
Swings and roundabouts.
swings and roundabouts.
It's
like-
I still with the World Test Championship. Like the truth is that like I really want them to win.
Yeah, I want them to
really
win.
want it because of Australian entitlement. Like Australia's taking the field. There's a trophy on the line. It's in England against India, so I don't think India can doctor the pitches.
No,
I won't
they'll have a
say
crack.
I won't rule it out. But,
Well, I think that didn't you say before they financed the World Game? So
Yeah.
I don't think we can
yeah,
categorically rule it out.
yeah, you never can. But like they take the field. I want them to emerge with the trophy. I want them to win.
Yeah.
Australia needs to win this thing
It
because
would
Australia
feel-
wins things.
It would feel right if Australia were at the pinnacle again of Test cricket. It would feel, and then win the Ashes. I mean, if they did the double, fuck me, that's
Yeah.
That's like... I was-
Well, are we up for a triple potentially this year?
to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think Australia would
everything.
Be,
Every
Well, I
time they
mean,
start
given,
The
our,
answer is
given
yes.
our record in the 50-day format,
50 over.
50 over format.
50
that a new-
day.
I
I'm
thought
fucking
they
into
were
50
announcing
day.
a new format.
Timeless
Well,
test.
what's the longest timeless test? It went for a while.
Yeah.
Before they had to catch a ship somewhere.
I think Australia is actually ranked number 1 in the world for ODIs, and we haven't played one in like a year and a half. So things are going pretty well on
Cricket's
that
going
front.
well.
Yeah, cricket's all normal
sport's
and
going
Yeah,
well.
it's all over the
very easy to
fucking
understand. More people should jump on board.
That's what we've been wigging out about when we listen to you guys talk as our source of cricketing knowledge.
Almost exclusively.
Well, yeah. Other than like the odd Crash Craddock article or something like that. Like,
yeah, Crash has lost me.
Where do you?
I don't see him anymore. I thought he might have been fired. No offense.
So what you guys always talk about? I can't tell how tongue in cheek or how serious you are about like Test cricket being fucked or not.
Oh yeah,
It's cool.
Do you know what I mean? Like, is it fucked?
Yeah, it's fucked, man. Yeah.
I mean, we're playing the Windies 2 summers in a row, which
That's gonna be
should
fucking
tell you
sick.
something.
Oh, that's going to be so good.
That's
We're
gonna
going
be
to fucking
sick.
smoke them again.
Yeah.
There's going to be records everywhere.
At least they gave it to the other cities.
What do you mean?
I think we've got. Is
We've
it
got
Pakistan?
Pakistan,
We got
yeah,
Pakistan in the
Pakistan,
proper
yeah.
cities, and then the other ones.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Pakistan
That's
has never
tongue in
won a
cheek.
test here.
Pakistan have never won
We
a
got the
test
good
here, I'm
one.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, have they not? Right. Okay.
Pakistan never won a test yet. Well, no, that was when
I
they
think
got
they might have
300 the
won,
last time he was
one,
out
I
there,
think, but Imran Khan days, like 80s, yeah. Because I said that once, and then someone said, actually, he goes,
Yeah,
97.
Yeah.
But I think
And that's
what,
their problem, not mine.
No, it's not yours.
I think what Tom's looking for, and by extension myself, like
There
where
you go. Dave's
is
corrected you there as well.
Test cricket at in the next 20 years? Is it still being played? Is the Ashes of any importance? Like, where do you think it's going? Are India just going to suck Test cricket dry? It's just going to be pumped all the eyeballs into India. Where do you think it's headed?
It's hard to see how every nation except for England, Australia, India can finance playing Test cricket. I don't understand how in 20 years' time, like don't know how that can happen. Maybe India somehow pull it together where they start financing other nations, but I don't know why they would do that. Like the IPL is just going to get bigger because it's so big. It's hard to explain how all encompassing that tournament is and is going to be. Like I think this tournament, it was 67 games, something like that. In 3 years' time, it's going to be 94. 94 means bigger squads,
3 months,
longer build up to that. Like it's just so, and it's carved out its own window.
So it'll go up to 3 months.
It's going to go up to 3
I think
months.
the better, the way to like worry about Test cricket is to think about the expansion of like franchise T20 cricket. So basically, like
The Yanks are getting into it, aren't they?
well, so it's going to America, but everyone thinks that cricket is like this administrative war between the BCCI in India, Australia and England. It's not. It's the BCCI versus IPL franchise owners. So at least the BCCI has a remit to like grow and look after Indian cricket, and they deal with the ICC, which is meant to look after and grow nations. IPL franchise owners are like Indian cement company CEOs and owners.
Just billionaires, bro.
Yeah, who don't really have a stake in the growth of the international game.
Does
In fact,
Adani own a team?
Ambani does.
Ambani.
Mukesh Ambani does.
Oh, if I got the name.
Well, you haven't.
They're also Adani's also big. Yeah.
Oh, so he's the same.
It's a different guy.
We were
But,
talking to Adani before.
They so those IPL franchise owners, they are trying to expand that format of the game, which is like club based, franchise based, all around the world, and buying up like the schedule of cricket. And they do it because they have extremely deep pockets, a very strong business model, but also importantly, and it gets forgotten or maybe ignored in Australia and England, like Indian youth, they like it. Like they like the IPL. Like in India, the IPL isn't like a hit and giggle exhibition thing. It's like it's tribal.
Yeah.
It's as like deeply, passionately followed as like Manly and the Bears in the 90s.
What do you think that is? I've often sort of thought about why it might be that Australia loves Test cricket so much. I think it's because of the timing of it. Like in summer, horizontal season, as it's known in the Hello Sport universe, where I'm just like, you give me any excuse to lay on my back for 6 hours a day and I'll take it during that time of year. So having the cricket on all day, 25 days in that period is really nice. Do you think that those two ideas marry up for us and for everyone else?
Australia's
it's
got
like,
a problem. I think Australia's got a problem. Like, because that's true. Like our relationship to the game is very Test cricket based, and that's good. And I feel it, and you feel it, and I do it the same way as you. The problem is that very few other countries in the world do that now. Like, so that's why we're playing the Windies 2 years in a row. Like we don't have, we can love it as much as we like, and England can, but we don't have anyone to play against. Like all these other countries for whom cricket is not like a deep part of their culture and pastime, they can't afford to play anymore. And they've got these franchises like in South Africa where the IPL franchises go over and say, we'll start a tournament here and give us your summer, which is basically what's happened. And so South Africa in the next 4 years are playing like 2 series of Test cricket. So that we can...
In the next 4 years,
so
2 series.
Yeah, and one's against India. So like India goes to... I don't want to get like X's and O's on it, but Australia's got a problem because we love Test cricket and that's not in question. And everyone in Australia is like, this is part of our fabric. But who the fuck are we going to play against?
I think it's also a problem with the Big Bash in that they've shortened it this summer coming up, but like previously it's gone for about 2.5 months, which is way too long for guys to come out. The money's not good enough. If you're getting IPL money, then guys will stay, but it's also a long way from home for a lot of those guys. And our Test summer runs concurrently with the Big Bash. That means our best players aren't playing in the BBL.
Yeah.
We're playing against fucking dog shit Test teams where like it's awesome because we can saw Marnus hit 270 and Smudge is going to hit 500 this year. That's going to be great if he decides
have
to
a little
play.
Montage, lie back.
And we're the best in the world. But like slowly, the game is getting taken away from Australian eyeballs because and the Kiwis as well. Most cricket happens when we're asleep and literally asleep because of the time zone that we are in. So like it's all pretty good actually. And
it sounds great. Well, there you go. So as concerning as it sounded.
But obviously a lot of I would assume most of the money goes into funding state cricket and the Sheffield Shield and developing talent to play Test cricket. That surely can't continue.
Yeah, I don't know whether. Do you know more about the distribution of funding, where CA's funding goes? I'm not really sure. But yeah, I think you'd be right. Where like the Sheffield Shield is this tournament where probably the generation now that are playing in it have aspired to reach Test cricket, and then there's like this sort of hollowing out period where like it's sort of dying, and so like I think the Ashes will still exist for a long period of time, and Test series against India are only getting bigger. The last World Test Championship, the last World what do they call it? Future Tours program where they plan all the Test tours. They've extended the Border Gavaskar series to 5 tests instead of 4.
Oh,
so
nice.
now Australia
That's
can lose 5-0 over there instead of just 2-1. But so that is extending. But like South Africa, Pakistan, West Indies, the Kiwis, like they ain't getting more. Sri Lanka, they ain't getting more than 2 tests at a time.
But like the big one with the state stuff, and I think it's a story that hasn't been told with any kind of colour or depth yet. But this year, New South Wales and Victoria, who are the 2 biggest states, like financially, population-wise, whatever, they entered into high-performance partnerships with United States Major League Cricket franchises. So Victoria with San Francisco, New South Wales with Washington, and it's just a high-performance partnership, so there's no equity or stake yet, but I thought that was a signal from states, which actually technically own Australian cricket, that they see the writing on the wall and they are trying to get away from like distributions that are attached to red ball cricket and old style.
Because it's not going to be there. Because the money's not going to be there.
It's dwindling, you can't rely on it. So they're trying to get alternative revenue streams. They've gone into these partnerships. They're sending their staff over to like Washington and San Francisco respectively, like during the off season. It all just, to me, it's all a signal and it all ladders up to the idea that people commercially understand that franchise club cricket is what cricket will become. Like, it's a cliche and maybe a bit glib, but basically club over country, international football, club game, and you get international windows, So I don't think Test cricket is going to like completely die, but it's a Wild West at the moment. And probably that, the cement company owner of the Seattle Orcas will decide if Steve Smith can play the next That's all. They will decide when our summer is. So it's all good.
And our summer won't be in summer.
Yeah. Our summer is now.
Yeah, your
June.
summer's actually our summer. This is your winter.
But it's like we find it interesting because you know, in cricket history, like England ran the game, you know, as an imperial country for like 100 years. And do you reckon like they treated other countries democratically? Like, you know, maybe at times, but if you ask other countries like India, perhaps not. Then Australia ran it from Pakistan probably through to 05. And everyone came out to our summer when we wanted it, and we had the same summer every year. So we dictated and ran it like a monopoly.
Fuck, it was good.
And it was fucking awesome. And that's actually the way it should be. And that's what we grew up with as kids, so we think that's normal.
Yes.
And now India has, like, economically organised. They've got 1.4 billion people. They definitely love the game more than, like, we do in other countries, which is hard to take, but we've been there. It's fucking real. Yeah. And they're swinging their dicks around and going, no, we'll do it our way. And we're not really going to take a lesson in civility and how cricket should be from England and Australia, you know? So when we complain on our show all the time, you know, about the direction of cricket, like a lot of Indians are like, you know, fuck off, Skippy. It's our turn, you know.
It's from one of my burners.
It's in burner, actually.
It was quite an error, though, if we can reflect.
It was
on
nice. Listen, you can't.
We
can't
did
be
well.
that good
We
for
did
our-
well.
It was a good time.
When we went over there, because we went there for the Test series just gone, and everyone was like, "Why'd you guys come here now? Why didn't you come during the IPL?" Like, because we thought like, "Oh, fuck, it's gonna be a big series," and yeah, it was still good, and people were at the games, but it's nothing compared to the IPL. It's like the love that they have for their franchise is fucking
That's kind of come up. How long's the IPL been going for? Not that
14 years. This is the 14th.
I thought actually off the top of it.
15
years.
15
Not nothing.
years. Yeah.
That's crazy. They've already got that much sort of passion for it, though. I guess, like in that short amount of time.
I think at the beginning, this is before we started following, but at the beginning it was pretty loose. Like it was very much attached to Bollywood and like the parties after the games. That was sort of the main event.
Warnie ran riot.
Yeah. And there was also like just heavy match fixing early on. Like Chennai, who won it this morning, they were banned for 2 years because there was match fixing involved. Rajasthan, who Warnie played for, they got kicked out for 2 years as well for match fixing. So it used to be pretty wild, but now it's like how pure an operation is now for like financial success through the fucking roof. It's here to stay, and it's only going to get bigger.
Have you been to the IPL?
Nah, never been. Nah.
Keen though.
Yeah, I'd have a look at it.
But now, so I feel like I'm, you know, like committing treason.
You're contributing to the death of Test cricket.
Exactly.
Can you explain Bazball? Eddie had never even heard of Bazball until like
That's
the other
good.
day.
I like that.
Good.
That's good shit.
Yeah. So can you explain to the punter
Well,
what Bazball is?
Bazball is, you know, well, firstly, don't trust it.
Yeah, Baz being the coach, McCullum. Of
Oh,
the,
yeah, we'll go, the Wikipedia.
Brendan McCullum.
Yeah. Well, so
England coach.
Bazball is
for his own
termed.
nation.
It was termed by a guy called Andrew Miller, who is a journalist at Cricinfo. Right. It's explaining the philosophy that Brendan McCullum, and to be fair, like the captain Ben Stokes has brought to the England Test team since they took over. So prior to McCullum and Stokes coming together,
Two Kiwis.
England had won one game from 17 tests. And so it was like the lowest fucking ebb of many a low ebb, you know, in English cricket.
1 from 17.
1 from 17.
That is disgraceful.
Disgraceful stuff. You know, laughing stock out here, really good. We understand it, all makes sense. McCullum and Stokes come in and adopt a philosophy of like free, positive, entertaining, aggressive cricket at all costs and times. So guys are coming in and bombing guys over their head first ball. Pretty much the same team. Like, didn't change it that much. No. Got rid of one or two like stragglers, but really it's the same team. And, you know, they don't train that much. They play golf. It's like Happy Gilmore playing cricket. And they've won 10 from 11, including shit like making 500 in a day against Pakistan, chasing 380 against India in like 70 overs, record-breaking innings. Jack Leach has taken 10 fers.
In the spectacles?
In the spectacles. Yep. And it's all about like swagger and being brash.
I don't like a swaggered Jack Leach either.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why
this is a fucking good Ashes.
Yeah. I don't like a swaggered England.
No, but Jack Leach particularly, you know what I mean? When like the least swaggery person, he was saying before, he's like, come at me. He's like, come at me, bro, this Ashes. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. And like it's incredible question like to the Australian ego, because, you know, I like that you hadn't heard of it. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, we don't pay attention to you until you come out.
Well, exactly right. Because I hadn't thought that I needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to piece it together. McCullum's an alpha.
Yeah.
Like we've
Big
always
time.
known that.
Yeah.
But England have struggled really. Like they've had Joe Root, who's always stood up and tried to do something, and everyone
Not out
else
here.
not
Worth
out here.
mentioning.
But generally speaking, he's got runs on the board.
Yep.
Ben Stokes chimes in when he wants to, but the rest of them were complete and utter rubbish. I think it's fair to say.
That is fair to
pathetic.
say. The team that came out here in
21.
thank you, was, I think, the worst England team I've seen in my lifetime. And fuck me, there's been some shit.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily aggressive.
No.
I just heard about Jack Leach.
No,
so fucking
dude,
arcing up.
this is-
Fuck off.
no,
mate.
no.
I know.
Please.
Leach got
I've
under
had
our
a couple of
skin.
tequilas on board. What's your excuse, mate?
Is he here? Let's fight him. Never been in a fight in my life. A couple of online battles.
Yeah, no, that's...
Fucking Skippy.
fingers going.
Yeah. Oh, there's a tangent. Yeah, so what was
Worst
I saying?
team.
Worst team you've ever seen.
Yeah. Ollie
And so-
Robinson bowling offies and shit.
Yeah.
Mate, fuck, what the fuck
You know what I
was that?
mean? Like, they
anyway,
were just fucking losers.
so I think like most people will be surprised that England will go in as favourites for these Ashes. I think it's like it could. We were talking on the show yesterday. It could be anything. These Ashes, like Australia, are a very good team. This is the last time our core of this team will go over there. There's probably Cummins, definitely Hazelwood, Lyon, Stark, Smith, Warner, Khawaja. This will be the last time they ever play a Test series in England, so it's their last crack at it.
All of them, you reckon?
Cummins?
I don't think Cummins.
Cummins is- Cummins
Cummins
is-
just turned 30.
Cummins is just turned 30. Okay, fair enough.
He's retired Cummins now.
But Lyon, no way. Hazelwood's.
I think Lyon's also a chance.
He's
Isn't
like
he?
34, is he?
He's a
I
spinner.
thought.
Yeah, he's not.
He can go for a little while, maybe.
Are those
Sure.
other spinners...
I think the point still stands. It's like
Yes.
it's a big, if you get 3 or 4 guys retiring from a Test side, as has been in the history of Australian cricket, like Marsh, Lilly, Chappell, Warren, Hayden, McGrath, all that, whatever,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
When they go in a clump, you're fucked for a couple of years, and Australia
Yeah.
will probably have that soon. In fact, there'll be more than 3 or 4 who retire. at the
Which
same
will be
time.
great. Perfect timing with
Yeah.
Test cricket struggling as much. as
Exactly.
Get
Yeah,
out.
funny that, isn't it?
Get out.
Yeah.
But is it kind of like generation defining though? If these guys don't win it, it's kind of like they haven't lived up to expectation.
Yes, I think so.
Yep.
And at the same time, if they win it, then they'll become a great.
Yeah,
all-time
and that'll be
team.
totally unfair. Like it's just one series, but
And there
we're
is
just gonna do it in
no middle
binaries.
ground.
Yeah.
If they retain the Ashes again, they'll still be like, nah. You need to win.
to win,
Australia is like, and rightly so.
We
very-
did win, though, in fairness to Nathan Lyon.
But we
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, in fairness, but also
Like, I go to bed at night knowing we won.
Yeah,
Australia
And
won.
that's all that matters.
Australia won that 2019 series 5-6 times over, and they didn't. Including like they won at Old Trafford in the 4th Test match to make it 2-1, so they retained the urn, and then they just got fuck-eyed for a week. They turned up to the Oval for the 5th Test match, flattest wicket in the country. Tim Payne wins the toss. Everyone bats first. He bowls first. Australia drop 3 or 4 catches in the first session. England going to win the game, makes it 2-2. So it's like it's just I've been saying for a while. I feel like this generation, this team is like an almost team that like they've almost achieved everything that a great Australian team needs to. And the standards for Australian Test teams should be the highest because we fucking should be good. Like our cricket team is our national identity for a lot of people, and a lot of resources get put into cricket. Unlike England's cricket is like the ninth most popular sport in England.
yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, we should be good at cricket. We put a lot of resource into it. So, like, our standards should be very high. And, like, I just feel like this Australian team, if they win the World Test Championship and they win the Ashes, this team will be one of the greatest teams we've ever had. But if they lose, they'll be like, no, it's
But, listen, you said they're an almost team, so hopefully they transcend that.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got a good opportunity too, because, like, at the moment, all our batters average more than 45. We got Cameron Green, who's
Across their careers?
across their careers, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Cameron Green is
wanted to bring up
it gels the
Cameron
team
Green.
together so well because like having that all rounder, basically ever since Flintoff in 2005, who just fucking destroyed us in that series and when England won against our great team, Australia's been looking for that, and they've Shane Watson was an excellent cricketer. His average is as good as Ben Stokes, and Ben Stokes is like the best player they've ever had, right? But he wasn't quite that.
Well, he just
you know?
hated going on with it.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? He hated going on with
Hated
it. What,
LBW.
3 test tons, something like that? Not 1,050s?
Cameron Green is he's the fucking
truth.
he's the
the
truth.
one.
He's the truth.
I wanted to ask as well because I realised conscious of time we got to get you out of here. But when you see him fucking bang that 100 the other night in the IPL, you guys like
He's a fucking real deal. So when he scored that 100 the other night, we were like, oh, he is going to be such a good player for the Mumbai Indians. We almost had him, the one that got away.
Yeah,
That's right. He's so fucking good,
Yeah.
and he's going to be good. He's only 23, something like that. And he's fucking everything. But in an Ashes sense, like he gels the side so well together. I don't think he's necessarily like he's going to win a game off the back of his individual performances, taking a 6 for or scoring 150 necessarily. But he gives you overs. He's a world-class batter. He's fucking good.
He's never played a game of cricket in
He's also
England in
never
his life,
played in
so
England,
we'll expect him to average 60. And bowl 140s and nibbling it away and in.
He is tall. These Ashes series away in England always seem to be tense. Or there's always a couple of test matches that are like really tight. Yeah. Do you think that Cummins how do you think he's going to handle those moments?
Well,
You think well?
Yeah. Cummins is awesome, really. Like, he confounds every expectation people have of him as a captain, fast bowler, and his politics as well.
Yeah.
But
he's a bit woke for me, Pezza.
Yeah.
that's the thing, if I'm his PR advisor, if he wants mainstream appeal, he should win the Ashes 5-0 in England and then disavow climate change. You know what I mean? Then you'll have News Limited Deluxe. You know what I mean? It could be PM. There's a big audience in that.
Cummins says it rained today.
Yeah.
Explain that.
It's always been hot.
Explain that, Greta.
Yeah. He's good. He's I think that I think with the Ash, I mean, I think it's worth pointing out, like, we haven't won there in 22 years, and
it's fucking hard.
And
hard
the ball moves around heaps. And
that's a wild stat.
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out also that, like, when England come here, we absolutely destroy them. Apart from one time when they won, but we normally bash them up, and then we give them a game over there. And it's normally close, and we've come close but fucked it up a couple of times. And I think with Bazball, England's playing a completely different style of game, and thank God, like, Cummins and McDonald are in charge, I think, because, like, it's going to be a massive challenge to Australian egos to have England guys walking at them trying to hit them over the top. And I think a lot of the old guard, like commentators and stuff, are going to find it very challenging to see that as well. But I think Cummins and McDonald are wily and kind of are intelligent enough to bring plans. So, it's going to be very funny to see if Australia, like, takes the gas and gets really upset with Bazball.
It's always good Ashes in England, because first session, prime time, 8:30 kickoff or 9 o'clock or something. You wake up in the morning, check the scores, and you get on with your day. That's perfect for cricket.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Who fucking do that?
Well, if it's on during the day, you're like, I'm obligated to sit here and watch this all fucking day. It's at night, it's like, dude, it's midnight. I got to go to bed. It's ridiculous. Boys, thank you very much for coming on. We love you guys. You're fucking the best. And definitely, the number one cricket, just fucking, I don't mean to be too overly smoke up your asshole, but I love the fucking podcast. I love what you're doing. And we were talking today, the first time you come on was episode like 120 or something.
126. So we did 5, so you're 501 now.
Well,
502.
no, because they're going to be out next week. So I don't know. They don't get the numbers, but
low
it's,
fives.
Mate, but
low fives.
I was going to say also, because we rudely didn't respond to Tobler's request for a note on your 500th episode.
and it was noted that you weren't on there.
Listen, it didn't go unacknowledged.
Well, it was a message, But boys, 500, it's fucking good shit.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. We honestly, we were like, we were sitting on the couch, and we go, "Fuck, what are you going to talk about?" And then we go, and then we want to talk about the Mandela effect.
Of course.
As you do. We were like, if you heard of the Mandela effect, I'm like, no, it isn't. Like, save it. We'll talk about that. We've got nothing else to talk about. We sit down and Dave walks in with 500 episode balloons. Like, oh, fuck.
And Mudcake and Verve. That's why I've had Mudcake on that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mudcake and Verve, one of the great pairings. You should try it out, boys. Tonight, after your success.
Yeah, after the successful show, Mudcake and Verve.
Slide into a Mudcake and a Verve. Fuck yeah.
Why does that sound sexual?
Because I said it in a way.
Because he said he'd slide into it.
Yeah. Fucking slide into a Mudcake there.
Oh, shit.
One word.
We might leave it on that. Slide it into a Mudcake. Thanks,
boys.
fellas.
Thanks, boys.
Could you two just not talk anymore?